publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. That's right. You're listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll be talking to Blake coming up here in just a second. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and give some contact numbers because you're going to want to get in touch with Blake after you hear everything that he has to offer you. His phone number is very easy, and it's been the same thing all throughout, well, for a long, long time. It's 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SD, or you can go online to the website, which is blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. We'll repeat that contact info several times. You missed it this time, don't miss it next time. In the meantime, though, here's Blake Sloan.
Good morning. We're going to have an awesome brand new show. Definitely still recovering from that flu from last week, but I'm way better this week, which is great. So I'm going to go and recap the overall market numbers for anyone that mid-week's micro market, right? It's been a little crazy in regards to ups, downs, what we saw. Had a little bit of a slowdown that we saw last month. So we'll dig into that for anyone that missed it and kind of just be able to play into what we're seeing so far, for this month. Also dig in and talk about interest rates. That's kind of been the big hot thing everyone's talking about, where interest rates have kind of been, on fire, really. And we're going to talk about ultimately, is that going to make the home, housing market go up in smoke? And that's kind of freaking out a little bit. And I mentioned before last week about some areas in Texas and hotter markets that we're seeing people kind of pull back. And so we'll dig into what that means, what we can expect. And also, I went and did a bunch of research in the previous times that we had big jumps in interest rates market. And luckily, as long as the economy is doing well, it didn't have a huge effect. So I have a report I'll go through and kind of share with everyone. That's concerning. We'll watch because it's huge. We had another 4-year this past week. And so we'll dig into that for anyone that missed last week's as well. But definitely a big deal. I will talk about the cat and obviously avoid when looking for resale value. We've had that on the list for the past time to get to it. So I'm definitely going to make sure we got time for that this weekend, and really especially which ones have the highest ROI. And if we have time, I got, the 5 top things of housing trends for 2018. I was digging into a lot of it, and it's crazy to kind of see what happens and even how some of the Christmas stuff has an effect on what we're seeing a lot of houses and what we're seeing that buyers right now are wanting. And so we'll dig into that towards the end as well.
Tuned in for the very first time. You don't know Realtor Magazine, many other national publications. He's been on NBC, he's been on the Fox and Friends Morning Show. You've heard the first Barbara Corcoran and more. Well, himself would be awesome. What he can do for you is unprecedented as well. He's got his trademark systems that help both buyers and sellers. And there's always one key to what's going to help you out the most as far as whether or not you are buying or selling.
It's so important, and that's one thing that makes sure we made a promise to talk about every single week. I even say it daily because I see it. I saw it last night with the guy I was talking with. Here's the thing: everyone makes a mistake of thinking that all realtors are the same, and it could not be further from the truth. Because the fact is, in selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what? In your pocket, property gets sold. If any of these are handled incorrectly, aka the ball gets dropped, guess what? You just cost yourself part of your heart, and that could be anything. Front clars back, the marketing looking terrible, the photos, it can be a million different reasons, but those balls are dropped, it costs you money, or what usually happens, property does not get 6 months of your time and it is not sold, which is why people don't like real estate agents. So what we did is we identified every single one of those variables, and we create a system in place that's proven and repeatable, and it creates base notes. We really kind of talk about it very similar to a marathon, right? Everyone takes off at the same time, but some will finish 2-3 hours ahead of others, and that's the small increments added up that make the difference. It's the same thing that we do before you ever had listed with that agent, okay? And so met with us, called from, actually heard an ad on the station, and we say go through, and he stops us, and he's like, no, I've already seen all this type of stuff. I know how this works. And, I'm floored. I'm like, well, obviously you don't already called us and we already had your house sold, and so, but my point is, and that's why I want to share this. This is a guy who ran a medical school, was super, super smart and intelligent. But the problem, they're so conditioned to think that everyone's the same. And so what we did research beforehand. It was horrendous. This had a high-end home, right? Some of the pictures, they literally had pictures of the chandelier, which is a regular chandelier, had a picture of the kitchen faucet, you know, in there. And we're not selling stuff on Craigslist here. We're selling house, right? You need to know what is that? Their cell phone photos on there. And so he wasn't really even wanting to give us a chance to explain that. Like, look, this big deal to you. This is your biggest asset. You need to let us show you what we do with our clients. And show them, hey, look, here's why your house didn't sell, this, and here's what you could have done differently, and here's what we do. And everybody's like, oh my goodness. And all it goes back to are those variables I'm talking about. So we identified all those variables, and I mentioned the problem is most agents don't know what they are. They do three things, right? They get a listing, they put it to the MLS, and guess what they do? They pray someone else it pretty much, and then they get another listing and put that in MLS, and then if 50% of their properties sell, they do okay. But from the consumer standpoint, right, this person here, you don't want to have your property sitting there for 6 months and not get sold in most cases. So here's the deal. I designed that. It's called the guaranteed sold system. Right. It's the only proven system to sell homes twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional method. And it's exclusive to us because I designed it. I license it other agents across the country. It works very well, but we see the same problems very well. So the bottom line is this lot of parts and moving pieces to selling a large asset like this, it has to be handled correctly. And so that's a mistake everyone makes. I made a promise talk about the same example I talked about last night. I've seen very similar 100 times 6 months. And so bottom line is when you make that decision, it matters to you. That's the number one single most important variable that determines your failure or success is one thing only, the agent you choose. Period. Same thing on the buy side. Guess what? 100 plus variables in A to Z, and doing the buy side have a prop correctly, puts money in your pocket. And so we did the same exact thing, reverse engineered it there. And basically you have a system called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. It gets you priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best financing, negotiation, all that stuff A to Z to make sure it's handled correctly. And both those really all they give our client the ultimate competitive advantage when they're buying or selling, pretty much.
All right. Well, you heard the intro here. Now stick around for the meat of the show. It's coming up in just a minute. We have an update on what's going on in the real estate market in this area, and also some of the most important numbers you're going to be hearing all weekend, your mortgage rates, how much money you could be making or losing, depending upon where they are and what you're doing. And you need to be doing it. 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to BlakeSloan.com. BlakeSloan.com. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan Group. Now, Blake has a marketing system on a whole different level than anyone else in Myrtle Beach. It's so effective at capturing local buyers from around the world that he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, and Blake's going to buy it. While most agents rely on yard signs and open houses that attract the occasional buyer, Blake attracts hundreds of buyers each month, which creates demand and helps your property sell fast and for top dollar. And that's why, on average, Blake sells a property every the top 100 agents in the entire U.S. by the Wall Street Journal. Now, working with Blake not happy, Blake gives you the freedom to cancel your contract and pay nothing. So give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or just go online and see Blake's interview on NBC at BlakesGuaranteed.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner with only money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand. If home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
As you just heard, call Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group today for all your real estate needs. 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. That's Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Mortgage rates coming up in just a second. What's the market looking like these days here, Blake?
All right, so quick kind of real-time update from last month. Is that better? Because remember those numbers kind of trickle in, right? And so single-family sales for last month compared to the same month last year, up 7%. Basically, 337. And these are homes. So that's kind of what you use to gauge the market with, right? That's what most of the sales are. That's what most everyone listening to has, basically excluding new construction there. If you look at the new construction sales last month, up 4.5%, which is great in that regard. If you look at the actual sales price, which kind of cares about, resale homes last month, sales price 0.6%. So we've seen that kind of level off, right? We're seeing big jumps there for a while. And seasonality, part of that has to do with some of the rates going up and also some inventory just kind of moving around. You see it go up and down. But right now, the median home price for a resale home, $191,000. Doing, anybody's been listening to the show for a while has kind of seen it. go. If you look at the 12-month rolling average for single-family homes, it's up 6.5%. So basically, homes out there is up 6.5% in the past year, and that's a great news there. Right now, median price is 207,500, which is obviously really good news overall. New construction price is up 3.9% for the last 12 months at 239. That's kind of great news overall. What we're seeing. The one thing that everybody's been talking about is inventory, right? Where's everything been going monthly in regards to basically where it was before. The number one thing we talk about resale on percent from the same month last year. So right now, months of inventory, and so that's one thing that if you remember last year we talked about flats. It's pretty much very similar. That's one of the lowest we've seen it ever since they've been tracking it with the software here. And so there's just less out there, which is a great opportunity for anybody thinking about selling still, because again, anything below 6 markets of inventory on the market is a seller's market. And we've been in this for about 2 or 3 months now, which is great. And so you want to take advantage of this. So this is the first kind of seller's market we've had in a very, very long time. That's also going to be combining with the spring summer market, right? So obviously you want to take advantage of that as a seller, right? Everybody's getting that kind of spring fever. You kind of feel it around here as things have warmed up in the 70s. And so everyone up north in the same thing coming down here. Make sure you align yourself as a home seller along with that. We don't know what's going to happen in a year, which we'll talk about in a second, but that definitely can, obviously affect what's going on with potential, I'd say decline in sales, but we wouldn't see it, like it has been. Resale condos last month up 10% flat, which is great, overall compared to the same month last year. If you look at sales prices, condos up 9%. Last month or the same month last year, which is awesome news, right? That's a big jump, almost double digits there. 133,000 is the median price there. If you look at condos, 8.6%, so huge, decline from last year, which is obviously why you're seeing a 9% jump in pricing, right? And so those are 5.0 months inventory on the market right now, and so again, hovering at 5 months for about the past 2 shows we've been talking about. And so anybody out there thinking about selling, make sure you take advantage of the seasonality here that we have. Obviously, the spring summer market. You want to take advantage of rates still being in the lower ends of the area. We've seen that jump up like crazy, which we'll talk about in a second. This is a great time to take advantage of it. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, you have not called, or what I've seen a lot too is people that try to sell with someone else maybe last year, a year and a half ago. Don't hesitate. Just call me and say, hey, what should we do? And we can easily advise you on what to base your situation is. Again, there's no pressure. We're laid back. We have, a massive amount of history here for the long term. We know that, hey, it may not be right for you now. We'll tell you because, when it is right, that person will come back to us in that regard. But here's the other thing. Anybody you talk to, friends, relatives, anybody, coworkers, they're thinking about selling, say, look, you got to call Blake Sloan. Make sure they don't leave money on the table, which we'll talk about in a second. But bottom line is, as we're tracking this, the one wild card to watch the rest of this year is going to be interest rates, right? We can go into that real quick if you want, Dave, I guess.
Yeah, sure, go.
So last week, right now we're at 4.57% as a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. That was down, I was actually down Friday from 4.58. So it dropped a little bit from Thursday, Friday. That was the largest, highest it's been in 4 years. And so if you remember last week's show, that was the highest it's been in 4. We're hovering very close. Last week's show was exactly 4.57. So a 15-year fixed rate right now, 3.92%. A 30-year FHA loan, 4.35%. A jumbo loan, 4.56, and then a 5-year adjust rate mortgage is 3.54%. So it's still, you're seeing it creep up. They're not too high though. I mean, you can still have things go up, right? Your buying power may go down. The amount of buyers you can qualify for your property may go. Then you continue to watch. It's not a huge, drastic thing, but it's one of the biggest jumps we've seen. And that's probably going to be the biggest wild card to watch going forward, into next quarter and obviously the rest of the year. And so I just thought we were thinking about it. And I was also kind of reading some of those, notes from different people in the industry, and they're talking about, obviously they've had they call it a relentless march to, higher ground, aka higher, rates this year. And so far, we're not seeing much of be up into the 5s by end of the year. And so, the bottom line here, buyer, you want to take advantage of that because your buying power goes down, right? The number one mismanaged variable in the home buying process, interest rate. They focus so much on that. We talked last week how on a $250,000 house, it costs you, $65,000+ just for a very simple That's something there to think about as well. But bottom line is, home sellers, you want to take advantage of the spring summer market and the low to mid 4% rates, right? You don't want to wait till October to sell if you need to get it sold for top dollar, right? One thing we had somebody we were chatting with, and they're like, well, we're thinking about maybe waiting, this and that. Like, hey, what do you want to do? And so it makes more sense kind of buy what they have now, lower rates. Don't wait till October to put your house in the market when rates will be higher, and also there's less buyers. And so that's something to think about. If you're not sure, reach out to us. We're easy to kind of walk you through and advise you. We always come from a place of expertise, and we look to advise our clients based on what's best for them. So again, anything you need, reach out, 843-808-SOLD, and we're here anytime to help for sure.
Well, you've got the knowledge. You're willing to impart that knowledge on anybody who'll ask. They just got to ask and call. Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Sold 843-808-SOLD. In just a second, got some great success stories of people who have gone with Blake and used him and utilized his talents and his experience. And also, buyer alert. How many people are after your home? I'll tell you that in just a second. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate with Blake Sloan. You want your home sold on time and for the most money without excuses? Hi, it's Blvd. And when I had to sell my home, I went through several agents who all had good ideas, but the bottom line is they couldn't get the job done. Well, you had a celebrity in your own town. So we call Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Blake has a marketing system that reaches buyers from around the U.S. and around the world. And week after week, he attracts hundreds of buyers. And that creates incredible demand. And that's why he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you'll agree to, or he's going to buy it. Plus, you don't really risk anything when you list with Blake, since if he doesn't live up to the contract, you walk away free and clear. It's really no wonder why Sean Hannity and I, along with real estate tycoon and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran, call Blake Sloan right now, 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or visit Blake's website. That's blakesguarantee.com. blakesguarantee.com. Or listen to Blake's Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 9 or Sunday morning at 11:30 right here on WRNN. Coming up in just a second, some awesome success stories of people who have used Blake Sloan and just came out with great results. Right now, though, it's time for your hot buyer. It's ridiculously hot. Blake and his team working with just a huge amount of home buyers looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area. It's the key as far as trying to get as much inventory as they can, and that's the tough thing. So if you're even thinking about selling, you've got a home anywhere in the range from $150,000 to $3.5 million. Call 808-SOLD, 843-SOLD. How many there are active home buyers on Blake's website right now. 43,912 is the exact number at this second of people who are actively looking for home in each area. Those are people who are looking on a daily or hourly basis.
This is the part that blows everyone's mind when they see it, and because you can watch in real time, like there's username, password, account, and so it's important to kind of reiterate that. And they're from all over, right? My business model that we have gives us a huge advantage because, basically, I can afford to spend more money to acquire buyer clients. We literally outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. And so what does that mean for you as a home seller? And I talk about this all the time. I cannot sell your house on the countertops and the cabinets, period, right? A buyer knows in 2 seconds if they like it or not when they walk in there. And it's just, no matter, I've shown thousands of houses, no matter how hard you push somebody, they know in 2 seconds, right? Based on how it looks. And so what I'm really good at and what we do differently is I'm really good at driving traffic. And the more traffic I drive to your property, guess what? The more likely somebody's gonna walk through and pull the trigger. And so that's what we're very good at. Buyers agents, and all day long, every day, all they do is they hunt, they follow leads that we get. And so about right now, 43,912 active buyers right now on the site. She's local, Rebecca Young. She's here from Myrtle Beach, searching the site. Been here 234 visits. Ashley Jones, a local here. Malik Rahim. All over the place. We got Ali Nachif from New York. I was on the phone this morning with a guy from England who was calling looking for some high-end properties that found us, obviously on Google online. And it's funny, he was asking, he said, can you call back at my house? Sure. And he gave me, the number is like +44, and like it was like 20 digits, had to call him back in England, and so the bottom line is we have a huge reach, right? We're outspending the average agent 120. If I was a single agent by myself, it would be impossible for me to spend, $10,000 a month online driving traffic on Google and stuff where everyone goes. And so not only that, we have software that can match up buyers and sellers It's a huge advantage. And so we're very big into technology and data, and that's a huge advantage in today's time, because the fact is most real estate agents been in the market for a while. They're still trying to figure out email, and so we've really embraced technology, because you know what? That's where we're at in today's time. We do iPad 2 in a world of cassette tape. I feel you're going to see a huge shift coming up going forward. It is kind of a big thing that's personal to us. Our whole, mission and purpose of the company is that real estate, and we live that every single day. And so if you're thinking about selling there, obviously the whole thing brought this up. We have massive amounts of buyers, and for being down, we are able to match up buyers and sellers fairly quickly, which is awesome. If you want, and the bottom line there, if you're thinking about selling, you're running somebody, this has been the biggest kind of blessing and reward for me to do this show is, hey, right? Save me in your phone world, to us, but also mean the world to your friend or colleague there who gets that results that they deserve and that they really should get, instead of going through the horror story like I mentioned earlier of the guy who wasted 233 days. And that's this week. He had a this week too. Big congratulations to Gary. He was actually one of our building. We have a couple of those along with investors, but we've put his do most builders justice. If you're thinking about that, reach out to me, at least do like a consultation, or at least say, hey, what's my marketing like to you? Absolutely, it blows your mind in regards to what they're doing, what they could be doing. Excuse me. A big congratulations to Kay and Richard, who have an amazing house, and they want it sold top dollar so they can move back up north to be with their family. We came in, implemented our global marketing blitz, professional photos. We drove massive traffic, put under contract within a few weeks for top dollar. And this is something that's pretty cool. Under contract, literally almost the same exact price as the brand new construction one was selling in the same neighborhood from the and so that was something that my number one competitor right now is new construction, and we're getting pretty good at it, making sure that we can get close. And so super excited about that one as well. Also big huge congratulations to Bobby. He's a client of ours from radio, had an investment condo here he needed sold for top dollar. So I had a previous agent had it, no action, no offers. We came in, implement our global, marketing blitz, professional photos, drove massive traffic, had a contract too, which is awesome. And then also last thing is big congrats to Edward and Judy, who referred to us by awesome radio listeners. That's my favorite, obviously. For each property in the market, 6 months with an average agent, no action, no real marketing, and no offers. They were super frustrated. Someone obviously advised them to call up. We came in, well, marketing blitz, professional. I drove massive contract, and I had it under contract within 2 weeks for top dollar page that people will go on. But bottom line is we're getting results. You're thinking about selling, do not wait to call us. Call us now, 843-808 sold, and we'll definitely be able to at least get you a consultation and kind of figure out what your best options are.
Got about 4 minutes left.
Okay, so 4 minutes left with that. Let's get to that one, remodels to avoid.
Okay.
That's something that some of this is pretty common sense. And the bottom line is it's hard to get dollar for dollar ROI, period. So if you're thinking about remodeling before you sell, check with somebody who knows what they're doing. We have this in graphs, all kind of stuff that you're not 100+% hardly ever at all, unless it's an older home that needs to be updated, right? So like, for example, the remodels like luxury, obviously avoid, right? Wine cellars, saunas, movie theaters, they don't often recruit the high building costs. Round rooms are hard to pitch to buyers unless it's a very specific high-end market. But even then, you're not going to. And so that's some people talk about. Another one's interesting is swimming pool, right? The average cost to build a pool, $39,084. And it's a heavy price tag is seldom recovered once the home's sold. And so that's just something you kind of see. Some people, and it's about 50-50. Some like pools, some don't like pools, right? They don't want the upkeep, which can be. So that's something to kind of think about. Plus insurance, all this stuff. They're listening here too. Gaudy accents, and I think that's something you got to be super careful about. And you also will find those come out very quickly, right? And so basically, talk about gold tile in the backsplashes. For you, if you do it, that's fine. Just to get dollar return, all right? And so that's just something to think about there too. Changes contrary to area standards, and so if you aren't watching the trends in your area, lose a lot of money. It says basically, on the total 600,000 of renovations won't always sell, in the neighborhood of that amount. And you see this all the time. We always talk about the number one rule of real estate: location, location, location. Right. Rule number 2: you don't want to be the over improvement, because people are not going to the money for the over improvement, right? And it happens all the day. Some of the remodels that they're saying does pay steel doors, which is interesting. And they talked about that. You don't want to go super, roughly about $1,000 for a good steel door with that. But basically, the National Association of Realtors came out with a new study that they usually recoup 100+% of the cost. And again, you know, one thing you can't really quantify is how the combination of curb appeal looks. Solar power, I don't totally believe with that. We sold a couple here recently. It's hard to get dollar for dollar unless you articulate the value and the savings, but some people are still scared of that, which is great. New siding's been huge as well. With that, they recoup 80% of initial costs. Broadband access is something obviously that people are really looking forward to as well. But the other thing too that are kind of in one of the top ones that we're looking at. So we got a minute, 2 minutes.
About 1 minute.
Okay. Manufactured stone veneer are getting like 97.1% ROI. Again, entry door replacement right at 100%. A deck addition if it's wood, 82 of that as well. And so some of the hot trends to look out for this year, everybody's kind of been talking about smart home technology. Everybody's seeing that, right? The new things that you're kind of seeing happen all the time. Open floor plans, everyone likes that. If you watch lots of on TV, HGTV, they're taking old kitchens, open them up to the living room kitchen because everyone sits there entertains. And so that's something we're seeing a lot of resale value, a lot of buyers want as well.
All right, sounds good. A lot of great tips. And again, if you want to get more on that, you can go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com, or better yet, just call Blake. This is Sloan Realty Group. He's got time to talk to you. 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, and get in touch with Blake Sloan. You have been listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake, we'll see you again. All right, we'll see you then with Blake Sloan again. Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LeBox, lead singer of Rascal.